Hello everybody, this is Kathy Moyer, and I wanted to do a quick presentation on exactly what Colorado Shines is and how you can participate at the different levels. So to get started, you can visit coloradoshines.com. You don't even have to log in. You will come to this homepage. And if you click on For Programs, because you're all considered a program, and then Program Resources, and scroll down here to this Colorado Shines Program Guide. And if we click on this program guide, I'm going to switch to this screen because I already have the page up. But on page 9 of this program guide, it walks you through the different levels for Colorado Shines. So at a level 1, it simply means that you are a licensed program in the state of Colorado. So if you are a licensed center or home childcare, you are automatically already at a level 1 in Colorado Shines. It is required as part of licensing now. At a level 2, it requires some minor things for the provider to do to get started and to get access to the level 2 and the level 2 funding available. So at a level 2, a couple of things are required. First, it says staff is registered in the PDIS system, and that's true. As a home provider, you are the staff, so you would be required to have an account in the PDIS system. And I'm going to do a separate video on how to navigate that system. Then at a level 2, you are required to do 10 hours of level 2 training modules. Those are free online classes on the PDIS system. They do count towards your licensing continuing education hours, so that's helpful. But you would be required to complete 10 hours in that system. Then there is the completion of the quality indicator assessment, and I'm going to show you that, as well as a quality improvement plan, and then you submit your application. So I want to walk you through a little bit of this. We're back at the Colorado Shines homepage, and if you click on this login to QRIS, it will give you this login information. Now, if you don't have an account in Colorado Shines already, you would click on register and follow the instructions to register your account. I've went ahead and logged into my account so that you can see what that looks like. So here is my account. I am still a licensed home provider, so it includes the county and the license number, your quality improvement level, so just a level 1 right now. And then you have these tabs here, your application, some information about levels 1 and 2, information about levels 3 and 5, and a quality improvement tab. So if we go back to this document, the first step is to have an account in PDIS, and the second step is to complete those 10 hours of online trainings. But then we also need to complete this level 2 quality indicator program assessment, a quality improvement plan, and submit the application. So if we go to this application, we're going to start here only because that's the order of the tabs. You would need to go in, and these have sub-tabs. So a program profile, children, workforce, classrooms, and high needs. And as you go through this page and indicate your answers, you will hit save as you go through each category. So you'll hit save, it will save it for a moment, and you'll go through all the way to the end. Once you get to that page is completed, you'll need to scroll up to this teeny tiny box right here that says Program Profile Complete and Ready to Submit. This box has to be checked. If I uncheck this box, you'll see here on the right that it now says it's in progress but not complete. So it needs to be complete in order for you to submit your application. If we go to the Children tab, this tab is asking some information about the children that you have enrolled. So pretty easy questions, how many 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, etc. that you have. If we go to the Workforce tab, this tab is asking about your PDIS account and if you've completed your online modules. So I'm here at 15 hours. I've completed 15 hours of online modules. I have completed a self-assessment. That's actually not required at a level 2. And I had an assistant before I closed. So I had an assistant and she was in here as well. So this number here, the L2 hours, needs to say 100%, which means that there would be 1 staff instead of 2 for you guys. Total L2 hours would be 10. Minimum L2 hours would be 10. And this would need to say 100% when you're completed. Then once that's complete, you will click this tab to mark it that it's complete. When you have gotten to this tab for the first time, or as you have completed your online modules on the PDIS system, you'll need to click this box here that says Get Staff from PDIS, and this actually pulls the information from the PDIS system into the Colorado Shine system. I just noticed that it now says that I have 18 hours completed. And Kathy has, my assistant, Kathy, has been taken off because she's now actually a home provider of her own. So you can see here my minimum hours was 10. I've completed 19 hours, so I have 190% complete. So that's funny, I hadn't completed that yet. Then you'll click on this Classrooms tab. And this Classrooms tab is probably the most confusing for home providers. So you would add a family child care home. So you would click on here. Mine is already in here. And then no matter what, you have to have at least 1 session. So normally this information down here would not be here when you're first looking at this application. So you would add your family child care home, it would put it up here, and then you would need to click Add a Session. And I'm going to go ahead and do that just so you can see that process. But the most confusing part for home providers is a session is just simply that you run a child care home. They needed to create the system for centers and for homes, and so this has been the most confusing for home providers. You only have 1 session. A session is not circle time and then another session for outside time. Your home child care is all 1 session. So you would only have 1 session. So your session name can simply be child care or whatever. Your start time would be what time you open, and your end time would be what time you close. How many students you have enrolled, the highest number allowed in the class, so that would be your capacity. The youngest age served, so this is the youngest age children that you would accept. So I'm going to say 6 weeks. And the oldest age served, I'm going to say 13 years old. Then they also need the birth date of the youngest child you have enrolled and the birth date of the oldest child you have enrolled. And this information gives them the information that they need if you were ever to do a level 3 to 5 rating. But for right now, they just need some birthdays. Primary language spoken, English. I don't have any other language spoken. Number of children with high needs, it could be 0. Let's say I have 3 children. One of them has a language delay, one of them has sensory processing disorder, and one of them is ADHD. So I would click those 3 categories. And then lastly, you have to select your name. Your name will be in here because you will have already set up an account in PDIS. So I'm going to click on my name, and I have to click on this arrow that will move it over to say that it's a selected teacher. So now the selected teacher is in there. I've completely filled it out. Oh, I need to throw in some, let's throw in some birthdays. Let's see. And I'm going to say March 2nd. And for my oldest child, let's say they were born in 2012. And then I'm going to save this session. So let's see. I'm going to delete this other one because normally you would, as a home provider, only have one session. So that completes this tab. So then you would go back up here and click this Classrooms are ready to submit. And then you would get to your High Needs tab. If you have no children with high needs, these will all be blank. And all you have to do is click Save so that they know that you have 0 children with high needs. And then click your High Needs Complete and Ready to Submit little box up here. So what they consider children with high needs is if you accept CCAP and how many children you actually have enrolled that are CCAP children. If you have any CPP children, Colorado Preschool Program, any children participating in Head Start or Early Head Start or Migrant Head Start. If you have any children that are American Indian, Alaskan Native American. If you have any children on an IFSP, which stands for Individual Family Service Plan, these are children birth to age 3 that are receiving early intervention services. So physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, those sorts of things, or behavior therapy. So this category for IFSP will only fall under the infants or the toddlers. Children who have an IEP, which stands for Individual Education Plan, have to be age 3 or up. So this category would only be preschoolers if you had children that had an IEP. If they don't have an IEP, you would not mark these. So then, once you've gotten through all of those tabs and you have your online modules complete, so on your Workforce tab, this says 100%, and all of your boxes on the right-hand side are green and say they're complete, you're ready to submit your application. But there are 2 additional steps not part of this application, and that's the piece I wanted to point out. So you will also need to come to this Level 1 and 2 tab, and this is that L2 Quality Indicator Program Assessment. And I tell home providers this is a bunch of questions that are super silly, in my opinion. I hope that you can answer yes to all of these questions. If you cannot answer yes to any of these questions, reach out to your early childhood counsel or your quality coach if you already have a quality coach. And if you don't have somebody available, reach out to me and I'd be happy to help you. My email is Cathy, C-A-T-H-Y, at Broomfield, E like Edward, C like cat, .org. So if you need assistance, you can always reach out by email. But basically, it's going to go through this. This first top section is only for infants and toddlers, and it goes through all the different categories. So it's going to ask you things like, do you model language for children? You have to be able to say yes. Do you have books that represent diversity in a positive way? So all of these will be blank when you initially get to this page, and you will need to physically change everything to say yes. So it's going to go through art and blocks. Do you have at least one set of blocks available for infants and toddlers? Are the blocks at least 2 inches by 2 inches? And do not interlink. It's a little known fact in some circles that anything that interlinks, like Legos or Duplos or Lincoln Logs or Magnetiles, because they interlink, they are not considered blocks. They're actually considered fine motor materials. So you'll go through all of these categories: nature, science, furnishings for relaxation, all this fun stuff. And then you will get to the second half of this page that talks about preschoolers. And it will ask you very similar questions specific to preschoolers. And you must say yes to all of these questions. You do not technically have to hit save after each category, but it really is best practice just in case something happens and you lose your connection, or you can't complete this page all in one sitting. Then you will have at least saved what you had already done. If you leave the page without hitting save, you'll lose everything and you'll have to start over. If by chance you don't take infants and toddlers and you only have preschoolers, there is a box under the category that says check this box if you don't have infant and toddler rooms. So again, that's wording for a center, not a home provider. But basically, if you do not take any infants or toddlers, you would click this box. Perhaps you take toddlers but not infants, you would still need to answer all of these questions if you're caring for toddlers. So once you get all done and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you would again hit the save button and it will save. And then you will need to go back up to the top and hit complete assessment, which just tells the system you have completed it. And it'll say, thank you for completing your program assessment. You have met the standards for level 2. If any of your answers are a no instead of a yes, it will tell you that you do not meet the standards for level 2. So I'll show you. Let's just change 1 to a no. And I'm going to hit complete assessment and it's going to yell at me. Oh, so it says, thanks, you've indicated on one or more answers that an answer no. You have to update the self-assessment when you feel that you have implemented the changes to appropriately be able to say yes. And that's why I said, if for any reason you can't say yes, let somebody know and we certainly can help support you in putting things in place so that you can say yes. So the last step in preparing to apply for your level 2 is to go to this quality improvement tab. And on this quality improvement tab, you have 2 sub-tabs, a Build My QIP, which stands for Quality Improvement Plan, or QI Incentives. And we're not going to worry about QI Incentives until after you get approved for a level 2. So at part of your QIP, you will need to go in and you will have to have at least one item on your quality improvement plan. And so let's go through that. We're going to add to the learning environment. So I'm going to click on learning environment. It's going to pull up a template. So it's very self-explanatory. So I'm going to pick which category and I'm going to say child assessment. So then it's going to give you a couple of criteria that Colorado Shines is looking for. So I'm going to say assessment results are used to individualize curriculum and lesson planning. And so my quality improvement plan is I would like to begin assessing children for kindergarten readiness and use this information to design my lesson plans. Now, the other piece of a quality improvement plan is that it has to have a timeline. It will not count if you don't have a timeline. So I will assess all children in my care by December 31st, 2016, and begin using this information by January 1, 2017. So now it has a timeline and it's specific enough for what I want to do. So then you're going to scroll and hit save. And there you go. And then you'll go to program QIP is complete. I highly recommend you have more than one thing in your QIP, but for the purposes of today's demonstration, we're only going to put one. But it could be around lots of different things, and I could continue to add other things in the same category. So I could add more information about the learning environment. Maybe it's that I want to purchase more blocks that don't interlink. I can continue to add that as a plan element. So you'll have as many as you want, get through that document, hit complete QIP. It will say thank you for submitting your quality improvement plan. And now you are ready to submit. So we would have had an account in PDIS, completed the 10 hours in PDIS. We've completed that indicator program assessment where you had to answer yes to all of those questions. We've completed a quality improvement plan, and we're ready to submit our level 2. So if that's the case, you're going to go back to your application. You're going to scroll over here on the right-hand side, and you would hit Submit Application. I'm not going to hit that button because I'm not really submitting an application to the state, and they'll be very confused if I do. So that's all of the steps that you would need to get to a level 2. And let's talk a few minutes about why you would want to get to level 2. First and foremost is that it's an excellent way for home providers to prove their quality level. So if parents are looking for childcare, they can look on the Colorado Shines website and resource and referral lists from your resource and referral agency. And obviously parents would probably choose a level 2 program over a level 1 program because they will have proven some level of quality. Obviously, if you were to continue in this process and get perhaps a level 4, most definitely parents would choose a level 4 over a level 1. So that's the first piece, is that professionally you would want the opportunity to prove your quality level to the public, and it's a great marketing tool. The other reason why programs would want to participate at a level 2 would be that it allows you to be eligible for funding. Now, that funding is dwindling quickly. At the end of this fiscal year, which ends in June, we are out of dollars, and there's a chance we'll be out of dollars sooner. So the sooner you participate in this activity, the better opportunity you have for funding. For home providers, it varies. It's typically around $600 for a home provider, and that $600 can be used to purchase materials for your childcare, or it can be used for professional development. Perhaps you want to attend a conference or the Rocky Mountain Early Childhood Conference in the spring. Those dollars can be used for that as well. It could be used for you to take, let's say, a Pyramid Plus training or EQIT. And so you would have those dollars available to you once you achieve level 2. So once your application gets submitted, it actually gets submitted to your licensing specialist, and your licensing specialist approves your level 2. They will not come out to do another inspection. They will simply take a look at the indicators. If you are almost due for an inspection, they may just come out and take care of it then. But I've not actually seen that happen. Typically, they're able to approve it based on the knowledge that they have. So they would approve it. You would get notified that you are approved, and then you would have the option to go in and apply for funding. And I'll do a separate tutorial on that and what that looks like. The other piece that makes you eligible once you get to a level 2 is you are eligible for coaching hours through your early childhood council. So you can then work with a coach that would help you improve your level of quality, support you in whatever you need support around, or help you get ready for a level 3 to 5 rating. So those are the options at a level 2 in Colorado Shines. I will do a separate tutorial on levels 3 to 5. So I'll do that one next and get that uploaded to you in case you're interested in participating in a level 3 to 5. But I hope again that this information helps clarify things for providers. And again, if you have questions, you can reach out to me by email at Cathy, which is CATHY, at broomfieldecc.org. Thanks. I hope this was helpful.